Hey everybody, this is Silver to Bronze, a Marvel Comics podcast, and I'm Tony.
And I'm Scott.
How are you doing, Scott?
I am great.
Yeah.
It's my favorite day of the week.
It's Scott's favorite day of the week. It's mine too. It is. I always look forward to it. Yeah. And I don't know, it's been on my mind a lot lately. You came up with an easy topic to kind of give us a little bit of an easy week. Was it as easy as you thought?
It didn't really turn out like it was a contingency I had not calculated.
Me either. I worked harder on this than I do most things when prepping, and stressing about it a little bit too.
Yeah, I found, yes, I am probably in the same boat.
Yeah, but before we tell everybody what we're doing today, I did want to bring up one topic, and that was I was just thinking this week about you said you're a man on a mission, and you were going to figure out who drew Galactus's eyes square for the first time. Like, who did that the first time?
Yes.
And so I went through and I sent you all the images of the various artists of the years, and it was interesting.
Yes, you did, and I have to say I was very surprised with the results.
Yeah.
And what you turned up.
So what happened was it was Kirby. Kirby was the first one. He only did it one time in one panel, and yet Byrne went all the way back, picked that up, and kept drawing him that way.
Which is, kudos to Byrne for picking up on such a strange little nugget.
Yeah.
But I would love to know why Kirby did that in one panel. It almost makes me wonder if maybe he started drawing it with the squares and then decided it didn't look right, so he went back and put eyes all over him and missed that one panel or something.
I wonder if he even gave it that much thought. He just tried something, and then he went and got a cup of coffee, lit another cigar, and he was just on to the next thing, and then forgot. Yeah, and then they inked it in, and then how many years later, 20 years later, Byrne picks it up, right?
Yeah, and runs with it.
Yeah. And
now it's considered standard.
Yeah. So I think we figured it out, Scott, and we've answered that big mystery everyone's been asking since the last podcast.
Well, it satisfies my curiosity.
Yeah. So do you want to tell everybody what we're doing today?
This time around we're doing something a little different. We have decided to each pick our top 10 favorite Marvel covers.
Yeah, of the Silver and Bronze Age.
Of the Silver and Bronze Ages. No real restrictions, no criteria. If it's your favorite, if it's a favorite for a good reason or a favorite for a bad reason, doesn't really matter because everything is subjective. But we're going to list some honorable mentions and then do 10 each. And like when we have done other blind lists in the past, I'm going to be very curious to see where, if any, we have any overlaps.
Yeah, I'm going to bet we have at least one. Before I said, no way, we're not going to, because I was going to ensure that did not happen. But then I had to be honest with myself and say these are actually my top ones, even though I'm not even confident about that. But as we're saying this, it seems that way to me. Next week, I don't know.
Well, as I went through this list, I changed and erased and added and subtracted and reordered to the point where I think I must have gone through 3 erasers. So,
well, you started out with quite a few.
I know. Yeah. I had a long list, and it was hard to pare it down.
I had a pretty long list. Yeah, I was just grabbing them, putting them in a folder, and then I just last night. That's when they did the battle royale with each other, and I just started making my list.
And sometimes when you're picking things like this, you just almost the quickest and surest way is to just go in cold. Don't second guess yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just grab it and do it and done, and then don't look at it again, because when you look at it, then you start thinking, well, maybe what about this one?
Well, some of them I
that
picked,
one.
It wasn't about looks. It was about my attachment to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I spent most of the time thinking. Like, I have to be honest with myself. This is what I feel, and this, that kind of a thing. So,
yeah,
that probably played a bigger role than anything to me. So, rather than just the looks.
Yeah.
I'm not an artist like you're a graphic designer, and you think about all that stuff, and I mean, I understand that too to a degree, but no, to me it's just emotion, the connection with the comic book, I think. Anyway, so how did you want to start?
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we go through the honorable mentions? We will just kind of quickly go over those, maybe both do ours, and then not go into too much detail, but just kind of maybe some reasons why they didn't quite make the top 10 list. And I thought I would say at the beginning, we've both kind of made a conscious effort to avoid some covers that are just truly, we haven't picked covers that because of their iconic status. There are some covers that are honestly just so popular and so well known. I mean, Amazing Fantasy 15, is it an iconic cover? Yes, but is it, outstanding from an art standpoint or any of that sort of thing? Maybe not. So we've
I
kind of
have no memory of picking that up off the spinner rack.
No,
so,
me neither.
Yeah.
So we've kind of avoided, the big, like X-Men 141 or Amazing Spider-Man 122, some of those that are just so ingrained in the history of Marvel Comics. We've deliberately skipped those.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a little bit deeper dive.
Do you just want to go back and forth and trade one back and forth? Do you want to like that? Oh, by the way, sorry everybody, but Scott and I printed out our covers, and we made little covers for ourselves so we could show each other, so we didn't have to look at Marvel Unlimited.
Right.
And so there's going to be a lot of paper shuffling.
Bit more
in this
paper
episode.
shuffling than usual.
Yeah.
And if you want to, as you're listening along, fire up Marvel Unlimited or get Google ready or something, and that way you can just enter in some of these numbers as we go and kind of just play along at home.
All right, I'm at my honorable mentions one now. I have a small stack of bad ones.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go first.
Okay.
One that I really do love a lot, but it got disqualified because of it's actually it's not that iconic. Alpha Flight #1.
Oh, yeah?
I just have a strong attachment to it because, it's a great cover.
Yeah.
It's a great way to introduce a new comic. It's, you have the entire cast of Alpha Flight there. Just kind of coming in, all the Marvel Elite guys.
Yeah.
And Reed Richards he kind of has a wry smile. I mean, everyone's kind of happy but and shocked, like, who are these guys coming from the north, you know? It's just a great looking cover, and Byrne's good at the covers.
Well, and that bright yellow background really catches your eye.
Yeah. So, and again, I have fond memories because I didn't buy very many good #1s, and this was one of those that I was able to grab.
Great.
So anyway, there's mine.
Okay, well, an honorable mention for me is ROM #10.
You might have to show that.
By Michael Golden.
Oh, do you have notes on it? Do you have to read or something? Okay, yeah. Throw it my way.
By Michael Golden. It actually was very
we talked about this last time.
I mentioned that last week when we talked about ROM. And it's a really striking cover, very energetic, a lot of great color to it. But I couldn't put it in my top 10 because it has that stupid banner across the top.
The toys thing?
That one, or is it this comic could be worth $10,000 to you? No comics with the sales banners across the top. That was an immediate disqualification.
Really?
Yeah, immediate disqualification for me.
I just feel sorry for the comic. I feel sorry for the artist. I feel sorry for everybody because there's no way no one wanted that, right?
No, I don't think so.
No. Let's see. For me, this is actually just something I've seen before and I just enjoyed it. Captain America 272. He's knocked out. Looks like he's dead, and these rats are crawling all over him. I don't know why, but I've always liked that.
Oh wow, yeah, that's intense.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know what year that. I didn't take any good information up on my honorable mentions. I don't remember what year it is. Is that a 40-cent one or 60-cent one?
Oh, it's a Mike Zeck cover. That's why it's so dynamic.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a good. Mike Zeck does good covers.
See, I don't think I know that name.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So anyway, there you go.
Another honorable mention for me is the Amazing Spider-Man #1 annual.
Oh yeah.
With the Sinister Six charging at him, hanging down from space. To me, that's just always been a real iconic look, especially with so many villains all charging at our hero at the same time.
That's a selling point to me.
It is.
Yeah, and a lot of me channeled my younger self, like what grabs me? What do I want to grab off the rack? And like I think that's kind of like why I like that Captain America, and that is a great cover for that. Yours is a great cover for that very reason. Like you'd have to pick that up off the rack, right?
And even if nowhere in the story does he actually face all six of them at the same time, it still presents a pretty good.
You know what? Only if I was really hurting for money would I actually turn the pages to see, do I really want to buy this?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, if the cover was good, I usually would just pick it up and run, I think. Watch me contradict myself later down the road, but I feel like that was the case. Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this is Captain America number 109, so the ninth one. He's kind of bursting through a newspaper.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, that's a very... that's one that's close to my memories as well.
Just a good representation of Captain America and the feel at the time and whatnot.
For my next one, I'm kind of just do a twofer here. Two more Amazing Spider-Mans, number 90 and number 144. Number 90 is the issue where Gwen Stacy's father died after the battle with Doc Ock.
Right.
And I just find the weird angle and the way it's drawn and the fact that the Captain Stacy's face is in shadows, I think that's really dramatic, and the sense that something has definitely gone wrong.
What is the title?
Spider-Man the Killer.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this once. Like, so it does tell a great story because whoever that is dead.
Yeah.
Who is it? Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you would guess that person. I wonder if people worried that it was JJ or something.
I don't know.
But anyway, it's dramatic. Like
yes,
you said.
It's definitely dramatic. And the other issue.
And I love that cover.
Yeah, it's a good cover because it's got a really weird vantage point.
And this is, again, Amazing Spider-Man, what number?
144.
144.
And it's the cover that shows Peter Parker as Spider-Man supposedly seeing the clone of Gwen Stacy for the first time. And it's a dark, kind of moody cover. The angle of view is very low, and it's got kind of like that typical New York grunge that we've both said that how much we like. And, of course, this leg in a boot that if you know anything about Gwen Stacy, you don't even have to really see much more. That's one that really stuck out in my mind.
I remember liking that cover.
And we discussed that cover quite a lot when we discussed that story as well.
Yeah. This is another one I just always thought was kind of cute. It's The Incredible Hulk, number 135. And it just has the years crushing down on him.
That was on my list for a while. Yeah, yeah. He's fighting the Time Master or Time Stream or something like that.
Yeah, and isn't that Kang?
I don't know. It might be, or a Kang variant. Time was definitely his gig.
I didn't read that comic. It was really, What's that?
Time was definitely Kang's. That was his gig.
Wait, I thought it was, but you're right. In the fury of Time Storm. So you're so good. Okay, I just thought it was Kang. So
I like that because it kind of takes I don't know what it's not. Well, I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for it is, but it's taking something that's not literal, which is these years in number form crushing him down, which obviously isn't going to happen anywhere in the comic, but somehow it conveys what the threat really is.
It feels like that for me right now. I have a 2025, a 2024, a 2020. There's a number of them just weighing on me,
Oh, I'm same. Okay, now, as odd as this might seem, this is my only Fantastic Four issue on the list, and it's an honorable mention.
Your only Fantastic Four?
Yes, but mostly because a lot of the ones that we're immediately gravitated to are kind of in the too popular category. And it's Fantastic Four, number 257.
I love that cover.
By John Byrne.
That didn't even make my short list, and I
don't know.
Yeah.
What it is it's a split view of Galactus, and all you see is the head, but it's perfectly split with Death.
Yeah.
The character Death.
Right.
Which is very interesting because the two spend a long time talking in this issue.
It's actually one of the best parts of that issue, that conversation that they have.
And to me, just the iconography of that just has always stuck out with me, and I can't help but think that that's a pretty bold choice to make for the cover of your comic. And so,
no, you're right about that. That's a great cover. I don't even know why it didn't make my short list. Well, heck, what am I talking about? I threw hundreds aside, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is a kind of, this is Conan, number 115. It's his 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
And it's really a pretty basic cover. I mean, this is John Buscema, and he's drawn this 1,000 times. This was not a hard cover for him to do. But I think it has Red Sonja in it, and I have that issue. It's one of the first I ever picked up.
We read that when we talked about favorite characters or something. Issue.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. We were reading each other's top issues or something,
right.
and I recognized that cover
we have
immediately.
Enough episodes beneath us that
we're kind of starting to forget what we talked
a little
about.
bit. Yeah. Well, great. I'm glad I was being consistent. But I just love that cover. I get excited every time I see it, and it just makes me want to read Conan all the time.
Well, and again, that's another striking use of yellow as a background.
Yeah. Good point.
Bright colors like that really are eye-catching. They really pop when you see them.
Well, yeah.
And, the whole point of that cover is to just catch your eye long enough to get you to plunk down your 50 cents or whatever. And once they've got you,
That one was 75 cents. It was a double issue.
Okay. Here's one that I picked just because it has always stuck out in my mind, but also because I think it's really funny. And it's Avengers number 83. And it has all the women Avengers and Valkyrie, who have just beat the crap out of all the male Avengers. And the sight of her leaning on her sword with her foot up on Goliath's head or Giant Man's head just has always stuck out with me. And I think I have always thought that was a fun issue.
That is a fun issue.
Of course,
or a fun cover. I don't know about the issue.
Of course, it turns out it's not really Valkyrie; it's the Enchantress in disguise. But that's a fun take on.
No, these are great. These are great. How many more do you have?
Just 2.
Okay, I have 4 or 5.
Well, I want to see them all.
Do you really?
Yep.
Okay. Iron Man. It's Iron Man 150.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a simple, again, another simple image of it's Dr. Doom and Iron Man just getting ready to go to blows. And I love that issue. I love that cover. A lot of artists, they could do the same layout and everything, and it wouldn't work. That one it just seems exciting to me, right?
Yeah, because when you see that, it's about to get real.
And this is what's going on inside the pages of this comic book too. These two are going to battle.
Yeah, it's a literal, more literal than most covers.
Yeah.
My next one is also an issue of Iron Man, number 74. Which has a picture of MODOK with an actual full-size uniform or suit of armor. MODOK is essentially just this giant floating head. But for the War of the Supervillains, he was built this giant suit of armor that's proportionate to the size, and so he's bursting through this wall with Iron Man in his hands and says, the War of Supervillains is on, and its first casualty is Iron Man. So I like this. I have.
Let me see it a little bit more closely.
I have strong memories of it because it was one of the earliest issues of Iron Man I bought off the stands, but also just the sight of MODOK with the giant body was really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And then there's a phenomenon that I mentioned to you earlier. It's like when I was a kid and when I was collecting, your oldest issue was always on the top of the stack, so you tend to see certain covers over and over and over because for the longest time, that's my oldest issue, so I see it all the time. That was the case with that one for a very long time.
Fun, yeah. Another Iron Man. This is Iron Man 96, and I just really like the cover. They just whoever the artist is, didn't really quite pull it off. It looks like he's been battled to death here. His suit of armor's all broken, and he's just about to get up and kick some butt, But the artist doesn't quite pull it off. But I think it's a great attempt. Like that was almost an iconic cover in my opinion.
That one I looked at and considered for quite some time.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of you. Good. Yeah.
Because it's very dynamic. The posture that he's holding, down, crouched down like that with the repulsors are just lit.
He's getting ready to do some damage. Yeah. And it has a bit of a Kirby-esque feel to it as well. Mm-hmm. There's something Kirby about it. So I would frame that thing if I had like a large print of it or something, right? Because that's how much I like it.
Yeah. Okay, well, my final honorable mention is Tales of Suspense number 80, going back a bit, and it's Captain America in front of the Red Skull.
No joke. I did almost get that one on my list as well.
And he's holding the cosmic cube up, and anyone who has followed the story sees this and thinks there's nothing good going to come from this. And it's just a very energetic, all the rays and the lightning bolts coming off of it, and Cap's, kind of back on his heels a little bit. So I knew I wanted something. There were a lot of really nice covers on Tales of Suspense in that era.
Yes.
Iron Man stories and Cap stories both.
Yeah. I want to almost do a podcast about that one day, like the Red Skull and that Cosmic Cube story. It's sort of scattered all over the place. I don't know if it's too large to do or if it's the right size, or I certainly know it's not too small to do. But I think that's a really interesting storyline in Cap's life and just in Marvel Comics in general.
Yeah, so I would be interested in that as well.
I mean, I'll
if
jot
for
that
nothing
down.
else, knowing that I've seen bits and pieces of that story
That's me.
in different titles over many, many years, but I've never actually sat down and connected all the dots.
Exactly, at all. Like I just have no connection at all to one story to the next. And if you remember, that's actually one of the very first stories I ever read was the Red Skull having just created a cosmic cube and all of that. So that's just really, I just have always been into that idea. So, okay, well, I'll jot that down. Maybe we can follow up on that. So,
okay.
All right, so 3 more for me. Amazing Spider-Man, number 70. He's just in a spotlight.
Oh, yeah, that's very dynamic.
It is. And it harkens back a little bit to the X-Men 141 with the spotlight. I feel like you mentioned that there's a number of these spotlight issues out there.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of cool to see. That'd be kind of a cool thing to have on your wall, like all the spotlight issues.
Well, and I like how all the police in the foreground are dark and just blues, and Spider-Man is the only thing that's like in a full color because he's in this spotlight
that's
stuck
yellow
to the wall. Yeah. It really, you get the sense of energy and just a really dynamic cover.
Again, another Amazing Spider-Man. You can tell I had these grouped because I was fighting over something, right? What is this? 55, Doc Ock wins. And it's just a big picture of Doc Ock with Spider-Man in his glasses.
Yeah.
I just have always loved that cover.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just have always thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and it looks like Spider-Man's on the receiving end.
He is on the, yeah, exactly.
He's not on the offense.
He's watching. He's clearly got Spider-Man wrapped up around his tentacles and whatnot, right? So that's a great issue. And then I just love this. This is Marvel Superheroes presents Doctor Doom, number 20. And it's just your basic, again, I guess I just like these stance ones where it's just the good guy or the bad guy, but especially if it's a bad guy.
That's a classic, too.
It's just a good look at Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw a copy of that in person.
Did you?
At the little shop I mentioned to you a while back has a copy of that.
Really?
Yeah. It was behind the counter.
Oh, I just love covers. I really do. They're better than the stories sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And almost always, actually.
And there's a whether it's a bootleg or not going around, but there's a T-shirt that's kind of on the market right now of Doctor Doom in that exact pose, just a completely black background, arms in the air. You can tell he's just screaming to the heavens. And in the background is a large expletive, which I will not mention on our family-friendly podcast.
Oh, you have to tell me later. That's
and
too funny.
It is hysterical.
All right, well, Scott and I took a break, and we're now prepared for the big show for, our top 10 favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm shy about this. I really am. Like, oh my gosh,
I'm kind of getting more excited because the fact that we didn't have a single overlap in our honorable mentions makes me wonder if we're going to have a clean sweep each on the.
I'm going to make you mad one time, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to not mad. You're disappointed. I think you're going to be disappointed in me. But I'm going to have.
Maybe not.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
So
sure.
this is your number 10.
This is my number 10. I'm starting at the bottom, and honestly, based on my mood, the ambient temperature, the phase of the moon, most of these could shuffle up and down. Sooner or later, I just had to put them in order. So literally, these are all separated by just the hair's breadth of could have been a 9 could have been a 7, and a 5 could have been a 3. I just finally had to commit to something. So
hey, here's something, though. We didn't work the rules out. So if I have something that you have, do I tell you?
If you want. I was thinking, we were going to have some kind of trap door or something, or that if one guessed the other ones, somehow there'd be like this, I don't know, penalty or something. But I couldn't think of what it would actually be.
Yeah, me either. Yeah. Okay.
So I guess not.
So I won't tell you if I have one of yours until it's revealed, and vice versa.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Well, for me, number 10 that I picked out is Iron Man number 9, which is the Iron Man in the grips of the Hulk, and it's already not going well because if the Hulk has already got both hands on you, you're probably in big trouble. One of the things I always loved about
a little
this
life hack bit of information there. If the Hulk has you in his grips, you're probably in trouble.
Toastage.
Such wisdom.
One of the things I really liked about it is it's really dynamic. There's a lot of energy going on. The Hulk, both of the figures, you can almost sense the movement. And of course, Iron Man's firing a repulsor ray at point blank range, and it doesn't even seem to be phasing the Hulk. And they contain all the color because the background is essentially just a gray cityscape from, it looks like they're fighting on the roof of a building. Always thought this was a really, really good cover. And in fact, much later in Iron Man's run, they reprinted this issue with the cover just in total. And this cover was done by George Tuska.
I was going to ask. Yeah,
George Tuska, who really is kind of like my first Iron Man artist. When I first started reading Iron Man, was kind of in the middle of the George Tuska age. So
I feel like mine was probably Bob Layton, maybe, but Tuska becomes that if you read enough, right?
Yeah,
he just takes over.
He was, you kind of, to me, he is the familiar Iron Man that I immediately recognize. So definitely always been a favorite of mine.
That's a great choice. Okay, for me, mine is Amazing Spider-Man number 113.
Oh, yeah, that is a good one.
This was sort of a late pick. This isn't a comic that I'm sure I've read it, but I don't really remember. It's the cover that I like because it has it's Spider-Man's. Someone has gotten Spider-Man's hood, and they've pinned it up on the wall, and then over that there's a newspaper clipping of Doc Ock beating up Spider-Man, and that's pinned against the hood. It's just, or the face mask, or whatever you want to call it. I just think that's kind of clever, and not that they were basic artists back in the day or whatever, but who even did this? It was it's John Romita. Yeah. So, but I think it seems modern almost to me. It's clever. I like looking at it. I think it's just a really one of those. It's one of those covers that kind of breaks the third wall a little bit. You know how like Dr. Doom scraped the front of the Fantastic Four issue that one time. It feels like that to me, and I like those things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's a creative step away from the typical two a villain and a hero.
Oh, it jumps right.
Yeah,
it totally
just ready to
breaks
slug
the
each
pace
other.
from the previous and the ones following that.
Yeah.
So
That's a very iconic
that
cover.
snuck its way in at the very last second. That was the
It's a
last
good
thing I
pick.
changed.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That's a
thanks.
good pick. Okay,
Number 9.
My number 9 is another issue number 9, and it is Rom number 9
Oh,
by Michael Golden.
you talked
I
about this
would've-
one last time.
Yeah, I would have picked number 10, of course, but we talked about the terrible banner. So this one literally was interchangeable almost. And one of the things I love about it is, Michael Golden is he's a great artist. He does really well with depth and shading and color. And it's this creepy image of Rom standing knee-deep in like some cave full of water or something with all these skulls and bones. And in the shadows lurking behind him is this big reptilian creature with a sword, and he's about to get the drop on him. And I love the colors. I love the depth. And I also really like the way Michael Golden handles how he renders shiny metal.
Mm-hmm.
Rom really looks silver here,
He does. You're right.
and just the way his eyes are glowing out of the in the shadows, it just really stuck out with me. Michael Golden did a whole lot of really, really good covers for Micronauts and Rom and Doctor Strange when he was kind of in his heyday there in the late 80s, early 90s. So,
Well, I have to 100% give you credit for putting him on my radar. I mean, I read the Micronauts and whatnot. I still just didn't really connect with Golden somehow until you kind of just showed me why he was special, and now he's on my radar. So I look forward to the other titles and stuff that he does.
well, and if nothing else, I can't be the only one that thought this cover was really iconic, because if you'll notice, when you unboxed your Rom figure, this is the cover that they used for the background of the packaging.
I didn't notice that.
Take another look at it if
Oh.
you've still got it.
Oh, I do actually. Yeah.
The card that the figure is attached on is this cover.
Oh, too fun. Oh, good information there. Okay, my number 9. We're actually not doing too bad on the paper noises, I don't think. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. Okay, this is the one that's going to make you disappointed. I'm glad I got it out of the way early. And actually, I did think that. I did put it in early because I didn't want to put it here, but I had to. It's X-Men 141. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how can you fault a guy? I mean,
Well, it's not just that. It is a great cover. We all know it's a great cover. And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no,
It's that I have this. It's a negative emotion in a sense, but it's the strongest I've ever felt. Whenever I looked on the spinner rack, when I saw that issue, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, my heart sank because I didn't understand what was going on. Like, oh my gosh! And then when you read it, it's just heart wrenching. And I don't think there's a cover of any comic that affects me that strongly. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
that's a home run for a cover artist, though.
But
not only did you immediately
Right.
want to grab that comic, but it got an emotional reaction out of you.
There's no way I could have progressed my day passing that comic, knowing that some of my favorite characters have all been slain. How did this go about?
And
why does Wolverine look old? And
why does he have gray hair?
Yeah. I mean, you had to buy it, right?
Well, and that cover has been paid homage to so many times since. It is one of the most iconic covers anywhere, anytime.
And this made my list, even though it got huge demerits for being iconic. Mm-hmm. And I still I have to. That would be unfair to myself.
Got to do what you got to do. Be true to yourself.
But Scott's not going to like it. And then you reiterated that as an example. Like, certainly we wouldn't be using 141. I think that was a perfect Scott.
Did I say 141? I meant 142. No, 142s.
So anyway.
Of course, that one is almost as iconic because that's the one of the Sentinel just basically vaporizing
Yeah,
Wolverine.
Yeah.
This issue, everybody dies.
Yeah. Everybody.
No, can't fault you with that one.
Okay.
Definitely
Think
not.
you're a good guy.
Okay, well, my next one, and this is number 8. And when I mentioned Mike Zeck by name, when you had your Captain America, well, this is a Mike Zeck Captain America cover. And it is Captain America Annual number 8.
Hand that one to me.
And it is Wolverine facing off against Cap, and Wolverine is on the aggressive, and he has hit the shield, and the amount of energy and dynamic motion captured in this cover, the sparks of the claws hitting the shield, you can almost hear the sound of this metal on metal. And
You're right.
first of all, it's really dynamic and it really catches your eye, but you're also like, why are these guys fighting? What's going on now? What misunderstanding has happened that has brought
I'm willing
Wolverine
to blame
and Cap?
Wolverine for the misunderstanding.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's Wolverine's fault, but still, that's a really, really dynamic cover. And Mike Zeck did a series of covers for a series of Spider-Man issues that was called Kraven's Last Hunt, and you may have seen some of those, and they were very, very good and almost made my list, but I found that this one was a lot more dynamic.
Do you know, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, and I'm embarrassed for everyone else. I never see this as an example, but this is a really good cover.
Yeah.
This is really good, yeah.
It has always never been far from the back of my mind when I think of covers that really catch me, covers that really have something, just an energy that's just almost blowing off the page.
Yeah.
And that was one of them.
This may be one of my most favorite Wolverine covers I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I didn't have to debate that one very long.
Yeah, I
Once
believe
I
it.
ran
I
across it,
believe
it's
it.
like, okay, yeah, that's on the list.
This is good. This is a good one, Scott. Yeah, I'm impressed. Good one. All right. I am doing, so I have to do this one too. It is another X-Men, and it's 137, The Phoenix Must Die. I know it's so vanilla, right? Like I'm just picking the major ones here. But again, this was my introduction to the X-Men, and it just, again, there's emotion to it. It's not that negative emotion because I didn't know who Jean Grey was at the time.
Right.
I understood it was a huge loss to everybody that cared about the X-Men. But, man, it really helped pull me into the whole comic book scene.
Well,
you know.
and you can tell by looking at that, even if you don't know much about the story, that Jean Grey and Colossus are in a fight for their life.
Cyclops, rather, but
Or-
yes.
or did I say Colossus?
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, Cyclops. They're in a fight for their life. This is all or nothing, and
that they care about each other,
yeah,
too.
And that cover, really brings that out. And also the nice touch of Jean Grey being in her original
Yeah.
green and yellow uniform.
I would only appreciate that later as the years went by,
Yeah.
right? When I started reading some of the older ones. But, even though everyone knows this, this is a terribly famous story, a famous cover, it's still just, I didn't know that for most of my life. And just till like not that many years ago when I started reading like Marvel Unlimited and then I'm once in a while falling into the scene, reading threads here and there. I didn't know that people cared about that cover that much or that
Yeah.
issue that much. And
Yeah.
so it's always just been like, one of my personal favorites, but I had no idea anyone else cared.
It's
right?
one of the probably, if you could pick of all the comics in Marvel history and pick the top 10, most well-known, most influential, however you want to pick it, it's going to be on that list.
Yeah. Well, I sure enjoyed reading it when we did that story so many months ago. It was a good read. Whereas, like Days of Future Past, I sigh. Okay, let's read this. It's good, But here you can read that, even though it ends tragically. I still read it, and it still feels like Marvel fun to me. It still has that veneer or a line. I don't know how to express it, but anyway, just trying to be articulate and failing horribly. But it's a great comic, and I love that cover. I don't know how he would have done it any differently, any better.
Everything about that entire issue is top notch.
Yeah.
It succeeds on every level.
Yeah.
Except maybe for the banner across the top.
And I do not blame the comic for that.
Well, but you know what? These days, if you had one of those in really nice shape slabbed, it might actually be worth that much. What is it, $10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be worth $2,500 to you.
Oh, well, yeah, got that easy.
Yeah, I just dropped that earlier for beer money. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. I don't even drink beer. Not very often. Okay.
All right. Well, here we are again. I have another Michael Golden cover. And this was something that we didn't discuss in our original discussion on Micronauts, but this is Micronauts number 17. The title of the comic
Do you
is...
mind if I take a look?
Not at all. It's The Death Fugue of the Psycho Man. And for those our old-time Fantastic Four readers know that the Psycho Man in this bizarre green and white armor is actually from the Microverse. And so it was almost kind of destiny that sooner or later the Micronauts and Psycho Man would cross paths, and of course it guests the Fantastic Four. But the sight of him, and Michael Golden has drawn this in such a way that the Psycho Man, being much, much, much larger than the Micronauts, looks like he's actually playing an organ or an instrument of some kind, with the Death Fugue, of course, a musical reference. But he's in some kind of pain or ecstasy. I'm not sure what's going on, but the energy and the lighting of all these lightning bolts crackling off of him as he's manipulating this machinery is so striking. And I remember when that cover came out, even thinking this had surpassed everything Michael Golden had done before with the Micronauts, and that has always been a favorite of mine.
Wow. And then you have Mr. Fantastic, and he's captured in a tube, and for some reason he's flailing his long arms, stretching for some reason. I don't know what you're trying to achieve there.
The Fantastic Four and the Micronauts are all like trapped in these little tubes or something, and I kind of forget exactly what he was doing to them, but I'm sure it wasn't good.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful cover.
And I've always thought, even though the Psycho Man was never part of what I would consider any really amazing stories.
I don't know anything about him.
I've always thought his appearance was very striking. That armor, the green and white, that kind of weird yellow face that's sort of human but not really, and just I think that's a really good rendering of that.
Yeah.
And very dynamic.
Yeah, it is. And I'm also happy that you picked a Micronauts. Because I should have listed maybe not the issues I thought you would pick, but I'm like, he's going to have a ROM and he's going to have a Micronauts in there. That's all there is to it.
And both by Michael Golden.
Yeah,
so that's my conceit.
I don't know if that would have occurred to me. So when you were that age, so what were you when you bought that? So that has to be 79 or 80. So you really were thinking about cover artist and all this. I'm so impressed.
Well, I had a couple friends who were pretty good artists, and I would spend time sometimes with them, and they'd have their sketchbook out or that sort of thing, and it was not uncommon at the time to see pieces of original art in comic shops and at conventions and things. And even at that point in my life, I was still kind of leaning towards design and graphics as a career, so it always appealed to me. And I kind of understand why the things grabbed me when they did. It's I know why this is working. At the time, it was just wow, that's really great, and that's really cool, and I can't wait to buy it.
That was as far as I usually went. I mean, I think I told you, I was aware of Sal Buscema, for instance. I liked him. I'm not sure, and Ben Byrne, of course, but otherwise, it just wasn't. I just wouldn't think about it. It was
Yeah.
I was just enjoying the comic as a whole, doing what you just said. I knew I liked it, but I wasn't really sitting there thinking. I don't know why that is, because I would copy and draw with these comics a lot all the time.
Yeah.
You would think I would have had more of a connection with them, but
Well, absolutely, positively, a lot of the analysis I bring to them now is information that I've accumulated as an
Yeah.
adult with a career, working in design. Certainly would not have been able to describe it in that manner.
no.
when
But you
I-
said you walked away, knowing that this was like a great cover, and so on and so forth. Like,
oh yeah,
I
because it just excites.
Yeah.
You grab it, you're like, oh wow, I can't wait. This is amazing. I can't wait to see what's going on in here.
This is something I didn't think I would pick, but I had to admit I've loved this cover for a long, long time. It's Strange Tales number 178 featuring Warlock, and it's
Yeah.
just a great. It embodies Marvel, the cosmic aspect of Marvel to me, and like, who is this guy? What is going on? Who are these people in the background?
There is another cover from the same comic, probably within 5 or 6 issues, also by Jim Starlin, I believe, that almost made my list. Because those cosmic Jim Starlin Warlock issues are their trip. They are trippy. And
They are trippy. Starlin, I'm getting more and more interested in this guy all the time.
Yeah. And those covers were very striking at the time. I'm sure at the time they were really, wanting to get this character to break out and giving him a free hand and saying, really go to town. And I think it shows in a lot of those covers.
Yeah. Is this
And that pose that he's holding,
Yeah.
with the arms outstretched, and it's just like, reel it all in, here we go.
And there's this face to one side in the background, and you've got this female space lady on the other side. It has kind of a Barbarella kind of feel to it, almost like Jane Fonda is around the
Yeah.
corner or something. And yeah, it's just trippy, right?
Yeah.
So great
And-
looking cover in my opinion. A lot of yellow, not really,
Yeah.
kind of a little bit.
The one that I picked, and in fact you can probably picture it if I describe it, had a dark blue or purplish background with him just kind of flying through a starscape, and it has to be within 5 issues
Yeah.
one way or another.
It does,
of
because
that.
it was like 17 issues that it had or something
Yeah.
like that. It didn't
Yeah.
last for very long. Why was that? Was it not? It just wasn't well received, or
I don't know if it was because it wasn't well received or because they might have moved it into one of the anthology titles. I don't know. Warlock is one of those characters that has always been around but has never seemed to completely establish
Yeah.
his own little slice of the Marvel pie, so to speak.
yeah.
He's always had a short series or a limited issue or featured heavily in a run of Avengers comics or Captain Marvel comics, and then of course much later, the whole Infinity Gauntlet thing. But he just never quite got his own footing, I guess, for one reason or another.
Did you read the Infinity Gauntlet story back in the day when it came out?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was great.
I didn't read it until the first time recently.
Yeah,
It wasn't what I expected.
yeah.
Of course, I saw the movie first, and I knew going in it wouldn't be like the movie. But,
In a good way or a bad way?
oh, good way.
Yeah?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the art. Yeah, I just thought it was really fascinating all the way around.
It was a big deal at the time, and rightfully so,
Yeah.
and really good. I enjoyed
Just-
every issue of it.
Yeah, there's some panels in that just blows you away.
Yeah.
You stare at it. It's just an amazing thing to look at. Yeah, I need to go and read it again, actually. It was, what year was that? It's a,
90, early 90s.
it's early 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that too far out for us to cover one day?
Well, I kind of consider that the very end of the Bronze Age,
Yeah.
maybe the very beginning of the modern age.
I don't feel like it. It doesn't feel modern to me. It feels very Bronze Age to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, before, if you'd said, Tony, this is 1984, I'd have believed you.
yeah.
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 So only because,
Well, with Jim Starlin doing the writing, he's got that old school style, so it might have at the time felt a little bit like a throwback.
Just how Kirby could not write Bronze Age. He was always in the Silver Age, in my opinion,
Yeah.
which was always refreshing.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well, no, I don't know why I keep wanting to just add more stuff to the podcast. Let's do this later on, Scott. But I
Hey.
guess I think we're going on for 10 years, so we've got the time.
Well, we're never going to run out of things. That's for sure.
All right. So yeah, I did Warlock. What's yours?
Okay. Well, my next one, and where are we? This is number 6 for
Number
me.
6. Yeah.
And this is my first Kirby cover.
Ah.
And it is Avengers number 23.
Here, hand that to me. Ah, talking about Kang.
Yes. And it is a very stylized cover with a very large Kang looming out over the Avengers, who seem to be dwarfed by his menace, with the title, I believe it's Once an Avenger.
Yeah.
I love it because the wild, I mean, it's great Kirby. I mean,
Yeah.
it's Kirby through and through, but I love whatever his choice was to illuminate Kang in this threatening pose in almost completely yellow. It looks like he's in a yellow spotlight or something,
Mm-hmm.
even though Kang is normally like green and purple and that sort of thing. And somehow, I think that cover is much more striking, and Kang looks much more menacing than if he had just been his normal colors.
100%.
And I liked
Yeah.
that. Not only is it eye-catching, but after you think about it for a while, you really acknowledge that choice, that he chose to color it in that way, and it really makes a difference.
Yeah.
So I just,
I don't think I would have looked at this and not thought about that. That's that's insightful. It's true. Like, you could not have done him in that purple suit. Yeah, you're right.
something about it gives it kind of an otherworldly.
And it does. You're right. Like, there's a light underneath him, and it
Yeah.
almost has that, like, you put a flashlight underneath your face and tell a story kind of a thing.
That's a good point.
However, Hawkeye is all in blue for some reason. But that's throwing me off a
Well,
little bit.
if I were to find out later that Kirby just did the pencils and the inks and somebody else colored it and it was a mistake, I would be crestfallen.
No, there's a note somewhere saying don't do the normal suit, do something else. Yeah, definitely. That's a great pick. You put thought into that one. That's great. Has this always been a favorite, or is this something you were just kind of going through and you're like, oh yeah, I've got to do that?
It has always stood out. I went back through some of the early Avengers issues because in my mind I thought, I know that there are a lot of early Avengers issues with really striking covers, and as I started scrolling, when I got to that one, it was like, oh yeah, there's one I definitely remember. And as I went through more and more and more, I didn't really find any that, at least that weren't, completely iconic issues, like number 57 or something, that stuck out quite that much.
Yeah. Nice. That's a great
And
one.
honestly, I've kind of always liked Kang. I don't know why. As an Avengers villain, if you ask me to name all the best Avengers villains, to me, Kang's always at the top
Why
of the
wouldn't you
list.
like Kang? Why shouldn't you?
I don't know. I mean, because he's not, in the long run, he never seems to be quite as big a threat as his build-up comes to. But
That's hardly a qualifying factor for me. Do you mean? No, I mean, I think I like that there's an interesting story.
Yeah.
If Paste Pot Pete can tell an interesting story, I'm a fan of Paste Pot Pete. Do you mean? I don't need you to take over the world or anything. I think Kang is interesting. I just don't know enough about him yet.
his backstory is so complicated. You need a flow chart to even sort it out.
Yeah.
You think the Red Skull and the Cosmic Cube is convoluted,
or Franklin
or
Richards.
Franklin Richards? Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll do this, and then maybe we can take a break.
Okay.
So my number 6 is Captain America, number 230. Then came the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
I just
that's a
really
good
like
one.
that cover, and I think it feels modern. It has I almost feel like you could see it today.
Yeah.
On a cover of Hulk or something, and it's and for people that don't have their Marvel Unlimited open or whatever, their original comic, it's just Captain America very much protecting himself with his shield, as the Hulk. All you see is the Hulk's
Just a
fist
giant green
smashing
fist.
down, and Captain America is actually breaking into a brick wall behind him.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is. So it does not have the rage and the violence of the Wolverine Captain America we just saw, because here Captain America is completely on the defense.
Yeah.
And literally his back against the wall and going through it, and the kind of So it's just, but it's pretty intense.
Of all the Captain America covers we've chosen between the two of us, he's really not getting the upper hand in any of them.
Which I don't think that's usually the case, right?
No,
So
but it does build a sense of tension.
and this is Ron Wilson. Do you know of Ron Wilson?
I do not.
Me either.
I'm not familiar
But yet
with
here
that
I am
name.
pulling out a cover by Ron Wilson. So he got one good.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
that's very, very dynamic.
So anyway, let's take a break, and then we'll be right back with our last 5.
Okay.
Okay, so we're back, and we had our little break.
We're back and refreshed
Yeah.
and ready to hit the top 5.
Yeah. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go
Is
first?
it my turn?
Well, technically it is, yeah.
Wait, I just did the Avengers.
Oh,
one.
no.
Nope,
Okay,
that's your
sorry.
turn.
Yeah, what was I tried to pull a fast one on you. You got me. All right, so what is mine? All right, so my number 5 is Iron Man 128, Demon in a Bottle.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, is that iconic? Is that an iconic one?
I definitely think so.
Oh, okay. No, you can
I
say
mean,
it is. I guess I
I
didn't know.
definitely
Okay.
do. That was one I would have instantly
Now
considered.
I'm a little bit embarrassed I
but-
picked an
but-
iconic one for not the right reasons. So
Oh well, you picked it for the right reasons because that cover, and for those playing along at home, it's the conclusion of the Demon in a Bottle story. Tony Stark just looks awful. The bottle and the helmet on the desk, and it was the culmination of a really big story, almost kind of like the X-Men, the Jean Grey Cyclops of, it was the ending of a huge story. And at that point, I don't think anybody, the readers, certainly not me, because we discussed that story
Yes.
not too long ago. And as you read through it and it comes to this, you're really not sure how Stark is going to get out of this just yet.
And I think it's kind of we've seen many times a hero on the cover not getting the best at the moment. We've already had them. But here, it's a different kind of enemy.
Oh, yeah.
And it has that whiskey bottle sitting right there.
Yeah.
That's a Comic Codes Authority comic, But, and he's just not Tony Stark anymore.
No.
And
I've always thought that as distressed and just, he's out of his head in this. You can just tell he's losing his marbles. But this cold, emotionless Iron Man face is looking right back at him.
Yeah.
As the helmet sitting on the desk or table, whatever this is, looking back at him. And the cold, emotionless Iron Man face looking at this Stark face that's just having a complete meltdown, I always thought was a really interesting thing. It's almost, you can almost hear the helmet, like screaming at him, get your act together, you're going to take us both down if you don't, straighten up. It is. It's got a lot of story to it.
It does. And I think it's a brave cover to have done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've seen anything quite like it around up to that point anyway. Of course, I bet there's many things like that today, but
That was a pretty groundbreaking story
I
in
would
its
think.
day. It's a groundbreaking cover to a conclusion of a groundbreaking story.
right. And people had their criticisms of it, like it got well all of a sudden, kind of.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know how you would handle that story as well as they did, and there would be pros and cons to everything that you did. So that's my number 5. So,
All right. Well, my number 5 is also another Iron Man issue. I think you can tell. I think everybody knows we're both big Iron Man fans,
Yeah.
so we've definitely gravitated towards him. And this is a Jack Kirby Iron Man cover, which I don't normally associate Jack Kirby with Iron Man, but boy, number 80 really has a great cover on it.
It's so Kirby.
It is so Kirby.
He got taken out. That got taken out of my honorable mentions just last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, this has stuck with me for a very, very long time, just because of just the boldness. And if you haven't looked at it yet, it's Iron Man, and he's flying through space. It's just
Kirby
him all by
space.
himself. Yeah, Kirby space. All the Kirby crackle and all the planets, and Iron Man looks like he's in supersonic flight mode or something, because he is looking forward and he's got his arms behind him, and the cover is very symmetrical, but the way that red and gold pops out against that dark background
Yeah.
of all that space, when that one hit the stands, that really caught my eye, and it has always resonated with me.
Wait a minute, you bought that off the stands?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that would have been just kind of in my formative
Wow, that's just crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. Yeah.
Just love it, and I kind of like it because it's a Kirby Iron Man. There are many other artists that I associate with Iron Man. Kirby usually isn't one of them.
Yeah, you're right.
So why he popped in out of nowhere to do this particular cover at this particular time, couldn't tell you, but boy, I'm glad he did.
Is that a good story at all?
It's okay.
And Kirby drew that whole, or is this just
I don't
his
think
cover?
Kirby was
So-
doing just
okay.
his cover. I think George Tuska might have still been doing the
Okay.
internals at that time, and that was all part of the War of the Supervillains story. And honestly, I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna hit anybody's top 10 Iron Man story list for sure.
Yeah. What was I going to ask about that? Oh, why would they? Why do artists go and just do a cover for somebody? Is someone's under a deadline, or why is that done?
I would think a deadline might be a great idea. It could be also maybe that was artwork that he had started for something else and said, "Oh, hey, I can throw a space background in this." Hard to say.
Yeah.
Not with deadlines and artists doing, and it may have been, Stan just said, "Hey, Jack, why don't you just do us an extra handful of covers so that we can have them on standby in case we need one."
Right.
And so that might have been one of them.
Trick kids into buying a Kirby over a Tuska, right?
Yeah.
or a Wilson, or whatever
Yeah.
that guy's name was.
Yeah, and I don't, and it's interesting because during certain runs of comics like the Amazing Spider-Man, even though for many issues Ross Andru was doing the interior art, but John Romita and Gil Kane and John Romita, or John Romita by himself, were doing all the covers. And yet the two, the covers generally had something to do with the story going on inside. So how it is that it came to be that the cover artist was a completely different team than the interior, I don't know.
Okay, so number 4, mine is The Avengers, number 57.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't tell me that's another iconic one. Is it really? You would count that as like...
I didn't say anything.
You're looking at me. I can't see your mouth, but I can see your eyes. So I'm just picking all the iconic ones out. This is what I get for being kind of a noob. But it shows I have good taste.
Oh,
right?
No one is going to criticize you for picking that cover. And for those who don't know, it is the first appearance of the Vision, and he's looming above all the Avengers in kind of these pinks and reds, and it's very
Well, I knew the
dramatic.
story was iconic in that it is an introduction. You're right,
Yeah.
to the Vision, but it's all. I'm sorry, you were describing it, and I interrupted.
Oh
you.
no! Actually, that was pretty much it.
It's just, and also it looks so modern to me.
Yeah.
It looks like something that you would have on a cover today.
Yeah.
And to think like, what is this, 1968?
Uh-huh.
So, and John Buscema.
Yeah, he hard to go wrong with him.
Yeah.
And boy, the color. And if he didn't do the colors in that, whoever stepped in and did it, would have to look it up. Really took something really good. He was the pinch hitter who got the grand slam with the bases full.
And now they would do this red cover every so often. When I was going through covers this week, I wish I would have kept them aside. I feel like there was a Fantastic Four that was that way. Maybe even around, by the same time, meaning like in the 70s or something. But this is the first time I've seen that kind of a look on a cover up to this point, up to 1968. I could be wrong, obviously. I could be wrong. But anyway, I just thought it was really snazzy.
That red, that kind of unnatural red scheme and color, it kind of brings kind of a feeling of threat, a feeling of danger to it. You know that something is kind of off kilter because clearly everything is red or a shade of red.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a nice guy at all.
No, he doesn't.
You would assume this is a bad guy.
Yeah.
And, well, he is in the beginning.
Starts off that way, yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't know. Okay. This is horrible. I'm just bombing because I have all these iconic ones on my list.
Well, but they're all really, really good.
Yeah.
They're iconic. They're iconic for a reason.
Okay. Anyway, what's your number 4, Scott?
Okay, my number 4 is.
Be careful there.
Yeah, don't want to play my hand too soon. Is Doctor Strange number 180 by Gene Colan.
It's such a good cover, Scott.
And it is the character of Eternity, with which, if longtime Marvel readers probably know, Eternity is one of these characters, beings who is kind of like an embodiment of a concept of existence or something like that. And Eternity is always depicted as an outline of a figure through which you can basically only see like space and stars and the cosmos. And I've always been fascinated by how different artists render that. Ditko has taken a step. I think Ditko may have actually originated this appearance of this character, but being a big Gene Colan fan, this one has always gravitated to me. And I've always thought that the white background with this figure in stark black, Doctor Strange down below, and then like this just black and white cityscape was just always really striking to me. That would have caught your eye on the spinner rack for sure.
Is the font of Strange, is that typical for that line at the time?
At the time, I believe so.
Yeah.
It didn't hang around for long, I don't think. I'm not sure. Doctor Strange is one of those characters that has jumped back and forth between anthologies, and then he takes over the anthology numbering, and then he's got his own series and back and forth. So which exact series that is or how long it lasted.
So Doctor Strange doesn't have, like, once he got his own title, it didn't just stay Doctor Strange, like, forever?
It did, but it was not in that font. Yeah, he had a later series. He had a later series, but with a completely different title aesthetic.
Which I can see that in my mind's eye, right. Doctor Strange, I did not care for him at all. I wasn't remotely interested in him when I was into Marvel Comics as a kid. And so he's a bit of he always shows up, so I know who he is.
Right.
And I like him now, but I had a problem with him when I was a kid. I just didn't. If I saw Doctor Strange on the cover, that was a mark against that issue getting bought. Yeah. I
never felt had anything against Doctor Strange, and if he appeared in an issue of something else that I was reading, I was generally fine with that. But for some reason, I never gravitated to reading his actual title itself.
That's actually what I really do. I certainly didn't want to do that.
And I don't really know why, and it may be the phenomenon we've discussed of, hey, your allowance only goes so far. You get 3 comics, and, he didn't make the cut. But honestly, I would like to start diving into some of that old stuff.
That's leading to that, yeah.
Well, and I'll even go so far as to say to the listeners, if you can think of what would be what's the definitive Doctor Strange story, maybe a 3 or 4 issue story that just is kind of like, to Doctor Strange what the Phoenix Saga was to X-Men, what the Kree Skrull War was to the Avengers. Let us know.
Yeah, well, I will even dial it down a little bit and say that I would be interested in just a nice run, a nice story arc, not not even the definitive one.
Yeah.
I would be into that as well. Just to get to know the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
But I can tell you what my problem is with him. It's magic, and he can just pull anything out, and that was my take. Now, whether that's probably not fair, but my take was he can just do whatever he wants because it's magic, and I didn't have an appreciation for that at all. I liked my superheroes to have limits, and I got it in my head that no, he could just pull a rabbit out of his hat anytime he wanted, and he would get out of whatever. But of course, that's actually what everyone else does, whether it's technology or what have you. So that's not fair. But anyway,
well, and I will say too, I always thought Dormammu was a cool-looking character.
Who's this?
I think he's kind of Doctor Strange's arch nemesis, but he was always drawn as this big burly body in kind of like a purple outfit, but his head was entirely flame, and all you ever saw was like 2 yellow eyes and a mouth.
Man, I'm not getting this image in my head.
For some reason, every time I ever saw him on the cover of a comic, I was like, "Ooh, wow, what's that? That guy's freaky looking." But
well, good for you too, because I don't think I even looked at Doctor Strange title. I didn't look at any of that. Yeah.
Well, there were also some Michael Golden Doctor Strange covers that were really, really, really good, but I decided I'd already kind of leaned into that enough with the other.
Yeah. All right, good one. Good one. So number 3, I do like my last 3 quite a bit. I did do mine. Mine were actually more hard numbered the way I had them. Like my number 1 is my number 1 and 2 is my number 2 kind of a thing. But anyway, one of my all-time personal favorites is the supervillain team-up number 17, the last issue. And
I don't even have to look at it. I know that cover by heart.
Yeah. So it's the villains, right? It's the Red Skull with the hate monger and
Arnim Zola.
Yeah, and it's the Cosmic Cube. They're just has it in his fist, and he's raising it to you as the reader, kind of, and it's just, and it was the first. It was one of 2 comics, the first 2 I ever bought, and a great introduction to Marvel Comics, in my opinion.
There must have been a lot of copies of those on the spinner racks because I was the very same way. I saw that and immediately grabbed it, just with just based on the cover alone.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Because I really didn't have any other issues of that comic, and that comic is actually a really strange. The whole run of it is just a really weird mishmash of some very strange stories, but man, that cover for that last issue.
Since we started the podcast, it was one of the first things I would have talked about because I picked it up off the rack. But I've never gone back to read those 17, and I should. I don't know.
Maybe.
I kind of enjoy. I don't mind if it's a little B movie or whatever.
It's a lot B movie.
Okay.
And it's kind of, for the title, for supervillain team up actually being in the titles, none of the supervillains ever really do much teaming up.
Is Namor in this a lot?
Namor is in it a lot, and Doctor Doom is in the early ones.
Yeah.
But really, they kind of spend all their time trying to manipulate each other into doing their bidding rather than just saying, if we really work together, we could probably clobber the Fantastic Four and the Avengers and Spider-Man all at once.
That must have been a rule over at Marvel because we were reading a Namor that one time and where there's Magneto. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They could not work together, which is good for Earth.
Yeah,
but
thank goodness.
Not good for them, yeah.
But you keep waiting. As you go through the stories, you keep waiting for the team-up part to happen.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. I could have sued Marvel for, like what do you call it? Like
false advertising.
Exactly.
But hey.
There's no team-up here, buddy.
But you know what? They got our quarter.
They got my quarter.
Yeah, and that's really all that mattered.
I bet you that's 35 or 40 cents.
Yeah, could be.
Yep, 40 cents. I started that's how I know it's my era. It was 40 cents.
Yeah.
And like you said, they never had a still 40 cents because those days were over.
Yeah, by then the prices went up so quick it wasn't worth changing the art.
All right, what's your number 3?
All right, my number 3 is, and I struggled with this desperately. I knew that somewhere in this list I had to have a Jim Steranko cover. And I looked at all of his Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. covers, which almost psychedelic is almost the only word that you can use for them. And I struggled mightily with those. They are so pop art. I mean, and he was like channeling the James Bond
Totally,
kind of
yeah.
vibe with the great graphics and the cover. Really, really, really striking. But what I ended up settling on is the Incredible Hulk Special #1.
Oh, that's great. Can you push that?
I certainly will. And it's another kind of super stylized cover, but the title of the word Hulk, and this one someone could probably take me to task about this being a little on the iconic side, but the stone letters of the Incredible Hulk are crushing him down on his back, and he's under so much pressure that versus the Inhumans, or battles the Inhumans at the bottom, his own weight and feet are crushing it. You could just feel the presence of this weight, and it's like, even if the Hulk is struggling with this, that's like, he's just about down on his knees here. So energetic, and just you can practically hear the fire and the flames and the crushing rocks and him groaning, trying to hold this weight up, and it just has always stuck out in my head. So I ended up choosing that over the Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s.
I so wanted to do the Nick Fury, and I went over and over and over, but then I decided it was iconic, so I had to throw it out. But clearly, I guess I just don't know what iconic means, and Marvel. I just don't know my comics well enough. But those are really great covers. All of them are really nice. The stories I think the stories are good too, to be honest. I read a lot of them once, and maybe all of them actually. I don't know why they stopped it. I'm sad that people didn't like it.
See, I have not read those, even though I'm very aware of them. And that would be something I would really enjoy reading, because it would be all fresh and brand new for me.
Yeah, and it will feel very different. It's Marvel, but it's also not. And they go down. Yeah, man, I almost want to do that too, because I want to hear what you would have to say about that.
Yeah, well, are you writing all these things down? We've tossed out about...
I will edit all this, and I probably will make...
5 episode ideas here.
And we have this one, we told somebody recently, well, we're doing this Be My Destiny.
Oh, we're still going to do that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm very excited about that as well.
Me too, because I've been in a Peter Parker Spider-Man mood lately. Okay, so #2 for me is one of my favorites. I love this cover so much. It's Conan the Barbarian #100, and it's the death on the Black Coast. It's the death of his love. I pronounce it Bulette.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just love that cover.
I'm going to take a closer look at that.
Yeah, and it's John Buscema, and if he does anything well, which he does a lot of things well, he draws Conan very, very well.
I would say he is the definitive Conan artist.
So much so that I've read all the Robert E. Howard books and a lot of the pastiches and all this. I only see that Conan in my head.
Yep.
And I think that he has come the closest anyone has ever come to actually depicting him, because when you read the books over the years of Conan's life, he changes a little bit. Sometimes he's a giant amongst men, and so he's this really tall guy, but yet there's times where he's not quite that tall. There's taller. And also he's a thief. So how is he so big but he's a thief? I mean, anyway, this is what he would look like. He can do all these things. So you see him climbing the Tower of the Elephant, or whatever it was called, as a thief, or you see him on the Tigris here, on the ship Tigris, and this is what he looks like. And I just think he did a great job. He even captured Bulette really well. I hope I'm not butchering
that.
That
That is fantastic. Yeah. And I had not seen this.
Well, and this cover means more to fans of Conan as well, because as soon as you see this, you know what the title. You don't need that there. You know it's Death on the Black Coast, which is one of the stories. It's the death of his love, Bulette, which affects him forever. So.
Well, interestingly, the Conan issue that we read. I cannot remember this episode. the wizard offered him a chance to bring her back to life.
Oh, that's right.
And I mentioned at that time, only being superficially interested, or
You can say you were superficially
no,
interested.
it's actually not what I meant. What I was going to say is the earlier Conans I didn't read at all, but I became interested later in the run. I did not know who this character was, so seeing this is very interesting to me.
That's a little bit like the Gwen Stacy story for Conan people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking too that that reminds me a lot of the X-Men, the following issue with Cyclops holding Jean Grey's
Yeah.
body. Very similar.
Oh.
Although I'm sure that would have come much earlier.
Yeah. What year was that? This would be 79.
I don't know. I don't
It
see
is.
the
It's 79.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Very. That is a great cover.
It is. It's one of my all-time favorites. I want to read more Conan every time I see that
Yeah.
cover. Yeah. All right. So what's your number 2? We're getting
My
close.
number 2 is Amazing Spider-Man number 28, which features the Molten Man.
Oh, that's too fun.
And I have actually mentioned this cover before as well as one of my instances of where Steve Ditko's really knocking it out of the park, because this cover is entirely black and it's lit only by the glow of the Molten Man, who is kind of off in the distance. And Spider-Man is only defined by the webbing of his suit, which has been depicted as red. You don't see any lines depicting his body, no musculature, nothing at all, just only the red lines of the webbing. And to me, obviously I didn't buy this one off the spinner rack, but from the first moment I ever saw it, I thought, wow, that is a great cover.
I like
Look
that
at
you point that out and appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice thing to appreciate.
And
that's not a euphemism for anything. I mean,
well,
you're right. Like you've described it very well.
Well, and in places like where Spider-Man is actually in front of the Molten Man's figure, there is no line. It's only defined by the absence of the Molten Man's figure, yet it still defines the body carefully.
And you can see Spider-Man very clearly.
Yeah.
Yet you're right. He's not there.
And yet there's nothing defining it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's great.
That has always been a favorite of mine.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, that's really fun. I was thinking about this last night, that I think that this podcast is going to teach me to slow down and look at covers a little bit more closely, because I guess I would do that as a kid. You're always thumbing through the comics, but now it's a little bit more difficult because you read them entirely online, and I'm just pressing buttons. I'm just swiping, and it just gets a little too fast. I don't think I'm settling on the comics. I know I'm not doing that. I'm not associating that cover with the story as much as I would as.
I can understand that.
Yeah, right. When we're old timers, we
when
read
you're
books,
when you're
right?
when you're just swiping through pages, you're not
Yeah.
spending that time with it in your hands like you would.
Yeah, and so I'm sure I'm gonna make a more concerted effort to stop for at least a brief moment and see if there's anything special there, because that's one that you could swipe over really quickly and not realize what you're missing.
Just
right?
in a hurry to get to the rest of the story.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's like, what I'm impressed by is like, yeah, you can see Spider-Man entirely, but no, he's not there. He's
not a
hardly there
single
at
line.
all. Yeah,
Nope.
That's really great. Okay, good one. I really love your list, Scott. All right, so are you ready for number 1?
Yep, here we go.
And
Drum
thanks,
roll.
thanks, listeners. Thank you for hanging out with us this long.
Yeah, and I hope you've been following along, looking at some of these with us.
And I'm going to end on a want because it is iconic. I know it's iconic, but I don't care. This is my favorite. There's almost not even a second place. That's how much I like this cover. And when I saw it on the rack as a kid, I picked it up, and I just think it's wonderful. It's Fantastic Four 262. The Trial of Reed Richards.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, in my mind, there's not anything like it. And it just blew my socks off when I saw that cover, and the story equals the cover. Like,
yes.
It eclipses the cover, actually.
I agree completely.
Yeah, you have a great cover, and the story is still better than the cover.
Yes.
And it just says it all.
We've talked about that issue at length.
Yes.
It is a heck of a story.
It is. And how do you not pick up it's similar to the Days of Future Past. And how could you possibly pass this up? You have to find out how Reed Richards is on trial, and clearly by all these alien races that are in the background.
Yeah.
It tells the story right there, what's happening.
Well, and for readers of the story, Reed Richards has actually been missing for a few issues.
That's
because
right.
he was just basically, no one even saw it. There were no witnesses. He was just basically abducted by a bolt out of the blue, and no one knew where he went or what was going on until this issue came out, and boom, there
He's
he
in
is.
chains.
He's in chains.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you point that out, too, because you do sometimes have to slow down and remember how comics were read, and that is once a month.
Mm-hmm.
You got this issue once a month. And so if he's missing, he's been missing for months in real time, so to speak. And, yeah, that would just be like, he's back and he's in chains, like what you just said, right?
Yeah.
And crazy. So,
Yeah, he didn't just sneak off on some secret mission. Something has gone quite wrong.
again, the danger of the swiping reading stories, right? Like sometimes you just don't appreciate there's a pacing to this to some degree, right?
Well, and that's the tease right there that says
Yeah.
you've been wondering what happened to Reed. Well, you better grab this one and find out if you intend to find out.
And then it's a low action issue, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of just words, which I just love, and that's actually probably when I realized I loved people like John Byrne who they weren't scared to write.
Yeah.
Right? So
And write well.
because there are people out there bizarrely think that more is better or less is better.
Are you? Is that a subtle jab, or are we going to?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm teasing you about
Are we
that.
going to make another Daredevil
if
Born
I could
Again
only
jab
quote
here?
you correctly, then it might be funny. But I'm stumbling over my words. But yeah. So I am. I'm just mocking you about that a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, that's my number one, and there is in a second place right now, so to speak.
That is a great pick.
Yeah.
And if you had really pressed me to say, okay, can you guess my number one? I would not have, wouldn't have gone there, but I agree completely.
Yeah, and it means more to me than I realize now. It meant more to me than I knew. Like as far as my interest in comics, it had a bigger impact, and I realized that when we were talking about it back in the day. Anyway. What's your number one? I really can I even guess?
Take a stab. Take a guess, and I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
I have in fact mentioned it to you before in numerous contexts.
Oh shoot! Was I listening?
That I don't know.
I actually hang on your every word. I'm just joking.
I mean, in a sense, I'm sure that the sound waves were in fact vibrating your ears, but beyond that.
All right, so yeah, I would have to take a wild guess and say it has to do with Micronauts, but
nope.
Okay, yeah.
And I struggled mightily with this one. This one was on my list and off my list and on my list
really?
and off my list because I thought that I was flirting a little too much with the whole iconic.
Yeah,
everybody automatically picks this one. But I finally just said, you know what?
It's Wolverine.
It is not. I finally just said, I don't care. This is probably my favorite comic cover in the history of ever. I got to do it.
Okay.
And it is Amazing Spider-Man number 151.
Yeah.
With him trapped in a sewer, water rushing in. That you can hear the energy of the water, and he is yelling, flooding the sewer won't help you, mister. Only one of us is coming out of here alive. And the posture that he is in suggests that might actually be true.
Yeah.
This cover, I don't know how or I don't know why, but it is just lodged in my brain and will never go away. And I don't think I'm the only one.
Oh,
because
no.
if you ask people top 10 lists, or if you Google this, this cover will come up a lot.
Yes.
And I finally just had to concede, iconic, not iconic, popular, not popular. It's my fave. And also, this is from what I consider my golden age of Spider-Man. This is Jerry Conway and Ross Andru firing on all cylinders, have been for a long time.
Did you own this one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah, I bought this one, Brandon.
I don't want to make you feel
Nope,
bad about selling your
I
comics.
plunked down
but-
my nope. I plunked down my hard-earned 25 cents and grabbed that one. And if there's anything to be said about this, is with as dramatic as this cover is, you're thinking, oh, who is it? Who is it? Who is it? It just turns out it's just the Shocker.
You know what, though?
Is who he's chasing.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a wah-wah kind of a story, though. It just doesn't fit. The story is not nearly, it's the opposite of what I was just talking about, where the story actually eclipsed
Yeah,
the
I mean,
cover.
if it had been like the Lizard or something down there in those sewers with him, that would have been.
You know what? I kind of like the Shocker, and I just recently realized I also kind of like the Constrictor.
I know, yeah.
I like the Constrictor for some reason. I think it's an interesting ability, everything.
I very, very, very nearly added to my list a Marvel team-up issue of Spider-Man and Iron Man with the Constrictor on the cover.
Nah.
Because it's a Byrne cover where the Constrictor has Iron Man in his little whips or whatever they
Yeah.
are, and he's being all shocked. It's a really good cover.
Every cover is like that. Anytime they have the Constrictor, that's exactly
Yeah.
the condition people are in. And I don't know why, but I find that, like, what a cool power, like, to fight against or to have or what have you. And he just seems, but no one ever really, I don't think anyone really makes him all that great, but I think he has great potential.
You know what? I just realized that the cover I'm thinking about wasn't the Constrictor. It was Whiplash. But they both kind of have the same thing
Okay.
going on where they throw the cables out of the
Yeah.
wrists and they, tie all. Yeah, okay. It took me a minute, but it was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, because he was shocking him with it. So, no, that was Whiplash. Sorry.
And now you've got me thinking, like, am I thinking of the wrong guy? But
Well, I know.
But
I mean, I can picture the Constrictor perfectly as well, too.
the Constrictor has like a black outfit and sort of
With
like
a yellow, kind of yellow or goldish stripe down the middle.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm thinking the right guy.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, those are really good ones. I'm very pleased with your list. Yeah.
I am astonished that we did not have any same covers.
You know what's? I guess, but I picked so many iconic ones. I broke the rules. That's what I feel. I feel like
There are no rules.
Well, there kind of is, but I have to admit, the only one I'm kind of actually a bit embarrassed by is the one with Vision. I think that's the only one. And the other ones I just had to because these are meaningful to me.
An emotional reaction or an emotional or even a nostalgic reaction, I think is worth much more than, studying, top artists and that sort of thing. It's like if a comic really just hooks you and it won't go away, go for it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There are no rules.
No, I'm glad you said that too because I think about that. I don't know how the listeners feel, but sometimes it seems like there's people gatekeeping a little bit, like, oh, you must like this, you must like that, and so on and so forth. And maybe it makes you feel kind of like you don't really you're not zoned in right or something. But that's not, like what you just said is absolutely true. You just read what you like and enjoy it the way that you want to enjoy it.
Exactly.
And don't worry about being an uber. I don't know if anyone wants to be an uber comic book guy, but don't try to be that. Yeah, just enjoy and just have fun with it no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what you and I do without a doubt. So we just I think we do. Like I've got this resurgence of I'm enjoying comics so much. This year has been largely about reading comics for me.
Yeah. This has kind of been a little bit of a rebirth or resurgence for me. Really reignited my interest in comics altogether.
Yeah, and just finally having an excuse to kind of like not study things, but like take the time to go find out why Galactus's eyes are square,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Scott and I, we did meet, and we were going to do my worst covers, but the podcast has gone on for so long that that I want us to stop so that I can get this thing edited one day. So this is another long one for us. So that's it as far as this goes. This was really fun,
Oh,
Scott.
this has been a blast.
It was fun to do and prep for.
I have had a great time.
Yeah, and here again, it's just hilarious that we're kind of giving ourselves a break and doing something easy. Just pick some covers. And then
Yeah.
I spent so much time. Yeah. like doing that, and then even kind of like researching. Like I just researched the year and the artist and kind of was paying attention, keeping track. I was like, oh my gosh, it got so complicated. Yeah. So anyway, but really, really fun. So I think that's it. I don't know if we have much business today. Just a reminder that if you ever want to reach out to us, it's easy to do. You can get on to Blue Sky. Just look for us at Silver to Bronze. We have a few people kind of hanging out, making comments here and there. It's
Send us your top 10 list.
man, I would love that. I would
would
that.
too.
Yeah, I'd be really interested. I'm interested in people's origin stories, so to speak. Like, how did you get into comics? What was your first one? So and so
that
forth.
would be fun.
People might think it's boring, but I think it's interesting. Another way to get a hold of us is our email, which is silvertobronze25@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us there. And that's it, Scott.
All right. Well, this has been a blast.
Yeah.
So we'll get together next week and see what's what.
Right. Guys, just take care of yourself, take care of others, and we'll see you next week.